Hey, welcome to the second video of building with Google Maps API. In the first video, I created an index, style sheet, and the script file with the main function to get the map loaded on the page. This function required the use of a constructor provided by Google Maps and two options that needed to be included in order to properly be loaded. Those options are center, which requires latitude and longitude, and zoom. Today's goal is to first create one marker to display on the map. Once I have one marker, I'll create an array of objects with multiple restaurants locations, which I'll iterate through each restaurant's latitude and longitude to create a marker for each. Finally, I'll add some styles to the map that I found on Google Maps API documentation. These styles will give the map a dark mode style. Okay, let's get started. So this is the map how we got it to load last time. So let's switch to our code. And so the first thing we're going to need to create a marker is actually a marker constructor. And we'll initiate another variable here. So we'll put a comma. Now we have this variable that we need to create a new object. And this is the marker constructor. The two options that we need here, first is going to be position instead of center like the previous constructor. This is also, it needs latitude and longitude. Okay. The second will be to pass the map that we are creating above. And we'll just put map in here. This is the map. That's the variable we use. Okay. Now I already have the first location for a restaurant. So I'm going to use those latitude and longitude. Okay. So now that I have this, let's take a look at the map. Now, as you can see, we have our first marker loaded. Pretty easy. So now the challenge is we want to load multiple locations. Okay. So let's go back. So the first thing we need to do is create an array. So I'm going to create an array. Name it restaurants. Restaurants. Here I'm going to create objects with property of location. Now the object, the latitude, I will have the first one, which is the one we previously used here. Now this is going to be pretty much the same idea. We're going to have multiple locations like this. So to speed things up, I'm just going to copy the one I have already created, and just to make this quick, voila, I have an array of multiple locations. Okay, so as you see, I have not only a location, latitude, longitude, but I have the name of the restaurant. Now, you'll see how we're going to use this later on and in another video. But obviously we can add more properties here that will be useful for us to actually load to our map. So right now we're not going to use this, and this is only helping us right now to know which location or latitude, longitude is for what restaurant. Okay. So now that we have this, so I want to refactor this function so we can have a cleaner code and be able to easily iterate through this array and display each of the markers for each of the restaurants. Okay, the first thing I would like to do is create a variable for the center of the map. So the only thing I need to do is transfer here and replace that. Now it looks a little bit better, not a big difference, but it will help a lot to understand where is the center. In this case, Los Angeles. In order to iterate through it, we need to create a loop. So we'll start with for a simple for loop. And then we just need to move this inside. Okay. Obviously, we can make this better here. And the only thing we need to do is replace this object with restaurants. There we go. And we need to do location. All right, now let's see if what we just added is working properly. Voila, there we go. So we have our markers loaded. Perfect, great. Okay, so now we were able to create one marker and create an array with multiple locations, latitude and longitude, and we iterate through this array to be able to create a marker for each of the restaurants. Perfect. So now it's just adding styles, and these styles, as I said before, I found you can find it as well on the Google Maps platform. And if we go down here, and the first one you will see is the dark mode. So the only thing we need to do is just copy from here all the way and here. And this goes below. We just place a comma. Voila. We have our styles. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do on the next video is give it some animation to these markers. Okay. And we're also going to start looking into adding some information to be able to click and display some type of information of the location. Okay. All right. We'll see you in the next video.